Hello there, dear wanderers and travelers. My name is Moton Blight, and welcome back to Nikke, where today we will be doing the hard mode for Sin Editor, and also I'll be checking out, or well, reading through White Memory for the first time, so that's gonna be fun, considering I'm actually streaming this I'm streaming a lot later than I usually am. And I also just got off of work, so I'm a little bit tired, but thankfully I have this hot chocolate to help me hopefully get through this. So
Did you see that? How was it? It was cool, right? Did you fall for me?
Oh boy. Time to voice more very sussy label, yeah. But first, after that incident, with Label's cooperation, I gathered accurate data on the Ark's food supplies and other resources, going all the way back to the Ark's inception. The amount of resources collected by the commanders, including myself, was absurdly low compared to our targets. It's a miracle the Ark has even survived this long. What would happen if this fact became public? A sense of dread flashes through my mind. Wanting to clear up the doubts that have been piling up over the past few days, I go to see Ingrid, who's in charge of supplies and logistics. Ugh. I gotta go smoke her mom for this one. You don't usually reach out for, or just smoke her voice in general. I'm sorry, Ingrid. You just sound like you've smoked a pack a day for like 40 years, or however long or whatever your in-game age actually is. We don't know, but it's definitely long. So, what's this about? I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Label told me about what she's been doing. I see. You're calmer than I expected. Well, this falls within what I anticipated. Once you get involved with labels, this was inevitable. I don't know why she's turning British, but... Are you going to punish her? According to regulations, this can't be overlooked. Someone has to take responsibility. Then I'll... Right, I figured you'd say that. I'll let this one slide. You already know what dozens of secrets that could shake the Ark to its core. Knowing one more won't affect its operations. Besides, I'm well aware of the burden that she carries. It was really hurting my throat, but I feel like it fits. From what I've heard, it doesn't seem like you ordered it. That's right. It was Enoch's request. She concluded that releasing all incoming information to the Ark as is would have a severe impact on the citizens' mental state. I see. Is that all? You stopped me from smoking my pack for the day. Given how much preparation you've done, I doubt you came here with just one question. Please, That's right. Explain to Ingrid what can reasonably be inferred from the data. I figured that as the person in charge of the Ark's resources, you couldn't possibly be unaware of this. A sharp observation. The Ark is a vast underground city. From the day it was built, humanity has sourced all manner of resources from the surface, not just electricity and food. However, the success rate of surface operations has remained low. As a result, the resources we obtain are woefully insufficient. We're consuming far more than we're gaining. Precisely. This fact has been true since the Ark was first created. So far, we've somehow managed to maintain the Ark, thanks to the surplus resources brought in during the initial migration. Let me put it this way. Grossly insufficient supplies, ever-increasing demand over time. If those two factors persist for decades, or even centuries, what do you think will happen? I'm sure you already know the answer. Yes. Everyone has turned a blind eye to this uncomfortable truth. But deep down, they all know. Oh, that's a typo. Put 2 T's there. The Ark doesn't have much time left. Oh. What are we gonna do then? That's a way to end it off. Jeez. Well, anyway, let's go get my tickets. let's go get my tickets and rewards, shall we? Let's get the title. Let's get the rest of the regular recruit rest of the recruit vouchers. Let's get the manuals. Let's just get everything. Let's just get as much as oh wait, we can't get everything. Well, we'll get it at some point, but And okay, we wait for I'll slowly gather up everything. Okay, on to But yeah, this, honestly, after that hard mode ending, I think it basically confirms that, yeah, we're definitely going to be staying in the Ark for an extended period of time. Which, to be honest, I don't mind. We still have a lot of questions about the Ark we need answered. Because, like, yeah, now that we think about it, like, how have they been surviving? How has humanity in the Ark been surviving? Are they doing like are they doing like they did in Wall-E, where they just put everything in a cup and they just magically like, oh yeah, this 10-year journey that we were supposed to go on actually went on for like literally thousands of times that, and we somehow still have food. Really makes you think when you go back and watch like some movies from your childhood. Because yeah, the only other way they could have been surviving in Wall-E, all the people on the ship, is if they were maybe eating each other. Eating the dead corpses of like anyway, this is getting a little bit too great. We gotta go into white memory. That's where we'll get the best. But yeah, I can't wait till we get back into the Ark, because now we have to deal with Sixo and potentially this crisis, this slow-moving crisis, because that has probably finally run its course. But who knows, they could just be being vague and saying, oh yeah, it doesn't have much time left. It actually has hundreds of years left. Okay, do I want to read this? Fuck it. Screw it. Snow White pulls out her weapon. She recalls the time Dorothy came to see her. We need food. We need to get the electricity back on, and we also need drinking water. We need to repair the equipment that's been damaged, and we need more ammunition. There isn't any more food, and we've lost all contact with the Ark. The waves of raptures are endless. I've lost several of my squad mates, and those that remain are mentally broken. Including you, but thankfully you get better. I guess. The situation is hopeless. Leaving the guard post when things are so dire may not seem ideal, but I have to go. I need to secure us more supplies. Dorothy, the leader, would have wanted that. Snow White finishes cleaning all of her weapons, outfits herself, and stands. She finishes the last sentence in her journal entry, detailing the preparations for her exploration. Off we go. She sets off into the great unknown. Okay. Like the starting screen BGM nowadays, huh? Alright, let's go on a text-based journey, shall we? Snow White approaches the forest. Despite the seemingly endless internecine conflict between man and raptures, the forest remains a bastion of life. As Snow White gazes upon the forest, a deer leaps into view. I just shoot it with an ordinary rifle. Tendrils of flame belch out of the rifle's muzzle, and the deer is blown apart in a burst of artillery spray. It's only then that Snow realizes how fragile a deer is. Having newly discovered the fragility of ungulates. Okay, let me get my notebook. Ungulates. Where is it? Where's... Okay, let me get my pen. Ungulate. I swear, Nikke be teaching you more English words than English class. Than English, wow. Snow White decides to walk around the woods and find alternative hunting tools. Oh yeah, I'm probably not gonna do all of White Memory, because dear God, I need to, because if I'm going to be reading this in my best narrator voice, I can't do this for probably an hour, for more than an hour, so but we'll see where my voice is in maybe half an hour. So let's keep going. Snow White decides to walk around the wood. Yeah. Okay. Straight. Walking forward, Snow White discovers a wooden cabin. She heads inside to look for any useful items. The cabin is entirely bereft of food and supplies. However, Snow White can ascertain from the antlers hanging on the wall and the bare skin on the floor that a hunter resided here. Scrawled directly on the table in red are the words, "Don't be the prey." Snow White turns and heads back into the forest. Having newly discovered the... Okay. Turn left. On the left, Snow White sees a chain link fence. She walks towards it, intending to snip it into separate parts that could be used to make traps. She approaches the metal fence and sees a corpse draped over the top of it. The body is clothed in a camouflage outfit and carrying a bow and backpack. Snow White cuts down the metal fence and sets the corpse on the floor. The duffel bag contains electrical wires, a phone, dry rations, a pail, and a map. Snow White looks at the bow and arrow. These weapons, along with the camouflage, might prove useful for hunting. She contemplates whether she should take them. Doy, of course. Snow White apologizes and takes the dry food, bow and arrow, and camouflage outfit. She must survive for the sake of her colleagues. If that means benefiting from someone else's death, then so be it. To be honest, this version of Snow White would probably do that. But then again, even during the Ark Guardian event, she didn't decide to use the parts from her fallen Nikke comrades to repair herself, but from the Raptures because she didn't want to desecrate them. So, it's interesting how the mind of like this version of Snow White is, because she's both like constantly on like survival mode, like survive at any means possible, but she also still has some semblance of like morality, which I find really interesting. Snow White prepares to hunt. She starts to set up a trap using the metal wire she got from the fence. Being proficient with crafting, she succeeds in making a trap and resumes her hunting once again. Snow White returns to the spot where she saw the deer and sets the trap. The bleats of a deer can be heard in the distance. She decides to hide behind a tree and watch. To conceal herself, Snow White... Where's the camouflage suit? The deer is fooled by Snow White's camouflage and comes closer. The moment its foot is clamped by the trap, Snow White shoots it with the arrow. With an arrow. Ugh. Snow White captures the deer in all of her smug glory. Looking forward to the delicious dinner she'll be having that night, she returns to the post in good spirits. Pog. Deer meat tastes good. Okay, let's keep going though. Okay, shoot it with the anti. The sounds of the battle only attract more raptures. It takes everything for Snow White to subdue the threat. In the end, she goes back to the post empty-handed. Oh. Oh well. The bad ending. Oof. Okay. Ordinary. Turn right. On the right, the ground is covered with mushrooms that have brilliant red patterns. Snow White begins to pick the mushrooms. She wonders if she could do a taste test before bringing them to her colleagues. Taste them. Snow White feels somewhat hesitant about sharing food with others that hasn't been tested. She puts a mushroom in her mouth. Suddenly, a white fog envelops her. A female figure can be made out against the fog. Or amongst the fog. It is someone whose face she has longed to see for some time. Snow White? Someone calls out. Snow White opens her eyes. The white fog has dissipated. After making sure she hasn't sustained any injuries, Snow White realizes something. The mushroom she ate made her hallucinate. Gee, you don't say? Snow White contemplates if she could eat the mushroom again. Although she can't explain why exactly, she wants to see that woman in her hallucination again. After hesitating for a while, Snow White decides to eat the mushroom. After ingesting some more of the mushrooms, Snow White sees two flowers amidst the fog. One is white and the other is red. Which one should she follow? Achieve ending meaningless hallucinations. The white flower. Snow White heads towards the white flower and sees a white figure. The faceless figure asks, "Can you see me? Can you see me?" Achieve ending to bid you farewell. No. Snow White stumbles over a tree stump and tumbles to the ground. After waking up from her hallucination, Snow White still wants to see that face that may or may not be a figment of her imagination. So she eats some mushrooms again. No matter how many mushrooms Snow White ingests, The face she longs to see remains forever indistinct. Snow White spends the entire day lost in meaningless reveries. Damn, she just got high the whole time. That's crazy. But now we can go in again. Back into the hallucinations. Okay, I wonder... Let's finish. Okay. Oh, wait, I should have... Oh. Cover yourself with leaves. The unwieldy camouflage does not fool the deer, just as it about to approach the trap. It widens its eyes and flees the scene. Snow White watches in desperation as the escaping deer slowly disappears into the distance. No matter how long Snow White waits in hiding, the deer doesn't return. The trap she made only manages to catch a few small woodland critters. With the small animals in tow, Snow White trudges back toward the post. No ending though. An escaped deer does not return. Dang. Oh my god. That's a lot of endings. Oh my god. Okay, but now that we... Okay, yeah. Okay, turn right. Taste them. Yep. Mushroom again. Okay, now the red flower. Snow White heads towards the red flower and hears the buzz of a radio. An old song is being played. Someone can be heard humming along to the song. They sound homesick. Suddenly, a long-forgotten memory comes rushing back to her. She used to listen to songs with Red Hood, who loved old songs. Hello, little one. Snow White was in a terrible mood that day. So many of those close to her had lost their lives. Snow White could never forget their eyes as they died, filled with fear and a hint of relief. As the music continues to play, Snow White walks up to Red Hood. Why do you look so solemn, little one? Going to give yourself wrinkles if you keep scrunching up your face like that. I can't do Red Hood's voice, but I can try and do a Southern Belle kind of voice. And if not, I can surely practice it. Like right now. Red Hood says with a grin. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Take a look at this. Red Hood brings the radio closer. It is playing a song about missing one's hometown. It's an old guitar-centric pop song, which didn't suit the battlefield at all. The song is nice, right? This is what music is all about. Red Hood attempts to coax Snow White. Wanna try singing it? Did Snow White sing with her back then? She can't remember. Oh, that's more like it, you dog. You act like an old geezer. Oh, wait. You act like an old geezer. Haha, really? Red Hood's laughter and the music are the only sounds that linger in Snow White's ears. Snow White trips over a tree stump. She awakes from her hallucination and sees a tent, a broken radio, and a cassette tape near the tree stump that she tripped over. Snow White keeps the cassette... Hold on. Had to get some water. Ooh. That Southern Belle voice took a bit out of me. Snow White keeps the cassette tape and begins humming the song she heard in her hallucination. Oh, the hometown I long for, the friends I miss. Even if the sky above us is forever gray, we'll return to our hometown someday. A gust of wind blows. Please tell my friends. Okay, so we don't have... Oh wait, we probably can't do that yet. Okay. So for now, I think we're gonna have to save the last of the forest for later, since it seems like it's something we have to get an ending from from a different region. Scarlet appears before Snow White, who's on her way to explore the riverbank. Dost thou intend on rusticating by the riverside? Prithee, allow me to accompany you. Snow White nods. Scarlet is excited about getting to see some fish, which she hasn't seen in a while. Do you know how to fish? No. Snow White answers no, so Scarlet says she'll personally make a fishing rod for Snow White. We shall require wood if we are to fashion a fishing rod. I'll look for some. Snow White looks around and fires her rifle at a tree that looks to be the right size. Egad! The tree sways a few times before collapsing on a pile of nearby rocks. I only required but a few tree branches. Oh. Whoops. The sight of Snow White obliterating the tree makes Scarlet feel slightly uneasy, but she feels somewhat reassured upon seeing how embarrassed Snow White seems for her slip-up. Scarlet runs over to fetch some branches from the fallen tree. However, Scarlet is unable to make a fishing rod due to her poor crafting skills. Feeling embarrassed, Scarlet. So she'll try to fish with her sword. Fleetly fading, just cuts the river in two. Scarlet stands by the river with her sword and lightly swings it at the fish lethargically swimming by. That's me after today. Those fish are me, bro. Whoops. Whoops. Sorry, had to add the whoosh. Because this is Scarlet we're talking about. The fish is cut in two and floats to the surface of the water. I doth believe there is validity to this idea yet. I shall swing it properly this time. Scarlet adjusts her stance as she stands at the riverbank. Snow White is filled with a renewed sense of hope that they'll actually catch a bevy of fish, and her eyes sparkle. However, as Scarlet swings her sword with full force, the river is dyed a dreadful red as all the fish are sliced and diced. Both Scarlet and Snow White stare at the massacre silently and return to the post without a word. Pomp. That's the pomp. That Snow White looks pomp. Arrivederci. 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 Okay, let's check the other one. Perchance there are canned goods buried under these rocks. Hast thou considered this? Snow White nods and begins rummaging through the rock pile. After they move away some rocks, some supplies hidden under the pile are gradually revealed. Scarlet and Snow White exchange glances. Their hunch was right. Filled with a renewed sense of vigor, they begin lifting up more rocks. Just then, Snow White feels something. It's a parasol. While looking at it, a memory of Dorothy resurfaces. Back when humans lived on the surface, and not in the Ark, Dorothy loved using the parasol that had been given to them as a gift. Supplies were plentiful then. Nikkes don't get tanned even if they're exposed to the sun, so Snow White was curious as to why Dorothy was under the parasol. Why do you use that thing anyway? It's not like we need it. With a smile, Dorothy answered her. If I use this place won't feel as much like a battlefield. Instead, it'll feel more like a warm and sunny Eden. Eden? How should I put it? It makes me feel important. When the Ark is built, we'll all be sheltered safely under the same parasol. Snow White couldn't make heads or tails of what Dorothy was saying. Will the Ark really become our Eden? I mean, after Sin Editor, that's a whole load of... Oh wait, it's past 10 minutes. Bullshit. But yeah, it's bullshit. Malarkey. Hot... Whatever other words that mean nada. When peace is restored, will the humans want us to stay under the same parasol as them? Oh, of course. Of course. As Snow White stared at Dorothy, her expression was full of such hope for the future that she couldn't bring herself to refute her in any way. Oh, a parasol. Dorothy will be most smitten with this. Oh, a parasol. Actually, I don't know who's saying this. I can't tell if... Oh, wait, no, this is Scarlet. Oh, a parasol. Dorothy will be most smitten with this. Scarlet proclaims as she approaches Snow White. Snow White nods quietly. Both of them feel this will be the perfect gift for Dorothy. She's doing her best to be a fine leader. They bring the parasol back to the post. Well, if you saw Goddess fall, she wasn't really a good leader. Just saying. Eh. Life under the parasol. How many endings we at? 7? Oh, great. We're a quarter of the... Yep. Quarter of the way. Okay, yeah, that's complete. Snow White answers yes, so Scarlet tells her to try making a fishing rod. Given thou doth intend of fabricating a fishing rod, I shall search for a suitable piece of wood. Scarlet begins looking for wood nearby and asks Snow White how long the tree branch should be cut. Tell her to cut it shorter? Longer. Scarlet brings over a branch with the perfect length. Snow White is very satisfied. To make the fishing rod, she takes out the metal wire. Snow White is good with her hands, and she manages to make a fishing rod using the metal wire and the tree branch. The two head to the river to begin fishing. Snow White? Nah, I trust Scarlet. Scarlet is surprised that Snow White handed the rod to her. As she lowers the rod into the water, she proclaims... sorry. She proclaims that Snow White won't regret entrusting her with it. Scarlet says that no fish will come if she doesn't move the rod, and claims they can only catch a big fish if they shake the rod. She begins swinging the rod as she speaks. Almost immediately, they catch something. Egads, a pocket knife. Scarlet has caught a pocket knife? She hasn't seen something like this in a long time and stares at it, forlorn. Snow White recalls a memory with Scarlet from long ago. That day they were starving. Though they had succeeded in their mission, additional supplies were taking a long time to arrive, as they were in a secluded place, difficult for humans to reach. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. I'm sorry, how hungry? To a food lover like Snow White, enduring hunger is the worst form of torture imaginable. Suddenly, Scarlet tosses a pocket knife at the birds flying by. Scarlet takes the fallen bird and passes it to Snow White. Prithee thee, thou not be lost in melancholy. Grill this. The bird was tiny, but Snow White isn't concerned about whether it would be filling or not. Rather, she is shocked that Scarlet is willing to kill something merely because she is hungry. Snow White mutters, "This is so cruel," which causes Scarlet to laugh. "So killing a tiny bird is cruel, but killing a bigger bird is perfectly okay." "It's not like that. Do not allow thyself to be vexed thusly about death. All lives have to end." Scarlet's nonchalance prompts Snow White to ask another question. "How about us? Will we die as well?" Scarlet chuckles. "Flowers are fleetly fading. All things eventually come to an end." Scarlet stared at her katana. "This is the lesson she gave me when she became my blade. Flowers are fleetly fading." Oh. Flowers are fleetly fading, Snow White utters, startling Scarlet. "Thy memory of this still rings true?" Snow White nods, sending a smile across Scarlet's face. "Precisely. Nothing lasts forever, and we are no exception." With that, Scarlet hovers the rod over the river again. Behind her, Snow White stares at her quietly. Fleetly fading. Okay, let's keep going. Come on. Yes. Tell her to cut it longer. Rummage through her pockets. Snow White doesn't find anything she could use to make a fishing rod. She gives some further thought and decides she can use the branch to make something else. Snow White passes the branch to Scarlet and tells her to sharpen one end. "Dost thou intend on fashioning a fishing spear?" After a while, they end up with a decent fishing spear. Swish, splash. The fishing spear embeds itself in the bottom of the river. Alas, another miss. Snow White and Scarlet continue throwing their self-made spear with all their might, but every throw ends up with it either stuck in the riverbed from excess force, or moving erratically due to poor aim. Perhaps we should entertain the notion of returning to a fishing rod? Oh wait. Perhaps we should entertain the notion of returning to a fishing rod? As Snow White listens to Scarlet, she stares at the fish in the river. It swims away slowly, as if mocking them. She manages to catch a huge fish with her bare hands. The fish Snow White is holding tries to writhe free from her grip. "I had no idea thou art capable of such feats." I figured I'd give it a shot, and it worked. Despite spending so much energy earlier, the thoughts of having a good meal later that night gives them both a second wind, and they begin catching fish with their bare hands. Snow White fills the pail with fish and returns to the post full of delight, discreetly wiping the drool forming on the edges of her mouth. Hail to the king of fishing. I thought that was a Duke Nukem reference. But close enough. Okay, answer yes. Use the fishing rod. Snow White stands by the river with the fishing rod she has made. She closes her eyes and tries to sense the movements of the fish. A long time passes, but nothing happens. Snow White, whose eyes are closed, can feel Scarlet nodding off behind her. The fish also seem to have fallen asleep, as nothing is biting the rod. God dang fish, so picky about their rods. Is that over though? Guess not. Okay. Snow White notices the branch is shorter than she expected. Scarlet asks if it is what Snow White actually wanted. Snow White ponders if she could use the branch for something else. Snow White passes the branch to tell her, yeah, okay. Oh, wait, what? Oh. Was that just a shortcut? Yeah, that was just a shortcut to that ending. Okay. Rapunzel appears before Snow White, who's on her way to explore the church. Come with me today, I've been to the suburb. Snow White nods. I can't do Rapunzel's voice. It's too high pitched right now. It's too high pitched for me to do right now. Cause my voice is wounded after today, man. Actually, my whole body is winded, not just my voice. Snow White and Rapunzel head to the outskirts and gaze at the structures demolished by raptures. They attempt to find a recognizable structure they can check out. Check out the factory. The factory seems to be a former refuge for the humans. Although some parts of the building have collapsed, there are some blankets and canned goods scattered around. Rapunzel and Snow White venture further into the factory. The inside of the factory is littered with all manner of supplies, but the cans of food are either emptied or spoiled. Everything else is unsalvageable. Snow White and Rapunzel want to continue looking for things they can use, so they walk into a room where the curtains are closed or break open a locked door and walk in. Break in. Dang. When they break the locked door open and walk in, they see canned goods and other supplies all placed in a neat pile, although there aren't many of them. This must be a room that has been used as storage. Snow White and Rapunzel begin gathering up the canned goods. In the midst of their scavenging, Snow White discovers a book under the couch. Take the book. The book under the couch is a dirty magazine. A nudie mag? Kaname Date would be proud. What is this? What is this? Rapunzel walks over and stares at the magazine. Whoa, I thought the series ended already. Her eyes gleam as she speaks. Snow White suddenly remembers a previously forgotten memory of her, Rapunzel, and Red Hood. What are you showing, Snow White? Rapunzel covers Snow White's eyes, not being particular about her reading material. Red Hood has just passed a dirty magazine to Snow White. Rapunzel blushes and urges Red Hood to throw away this smut. Undeterred, Red Hood continues to tease Rapunzel with the racy magazine. With the very raunchy magazine. While Snow White watches them argue, she realizes the animosity between the Red Hood and Rapunzel has given way to real friendship. You're not the slightest bit shy about reading this kind of stuff. Oh, you still remember that? Snow White nods while Rapunzel smiles. How could I forget? After going through that, I don't think anyone else can make me feel embarrassed ever again. Rapunzel takes the dirty magazine from Snow White. I can read things even more salacious than this now. Red Hood would be shocked if she saw me now, wouldn't she? Actually, she's probably over the moon that she managed to influence me. Rapunzel returns the magazine to Snow White. I kept feeling like Red Hood was embarrassing me on purpose, so I was annoyed. But now, I kinda miss it. Rapunzel stops talking and begins collecting the rest of the scattered canned goods. Meanwhile, Snow White watches her quietly. Actually, I may be able to finish this. I think I can power through all of these endings. Think I can power on? I think I can. Well, leave the book alone. Oh, cookbook required. The two are elated, as they didn't expect to find such a major haul. As Rapunzel looks at the canned goods, she remembers how the atmosphere at the post has been fairly gloomy lately. Dorothy has also been rather morose as well. Rapunzel suggests that they make some dishes and give everyone else a pleasant surprise. Snow White agrees with the idea. Rapunzel begins cooking based on intuition. God. Rapunzel steps forward confidently, claiming she has always loved cooking, even as a human. As Snow White watches Rapunzel, she feels a little anxious. An unknown substance boils in the pot. What was once delicious food is now a disastrous pile of black mush. It can no longer even be considered food. What in the world did you put in there? Oh, I just made it the way I did before. Snow White is speechless. She snatches the final can of food before Rapunzel can destroy that as well, and returns to the post. Which ending was this? Becoming a master in your own kitchen tomorrow? Okay, let's see if we can find the cookbook. Walk into a room where the curtains are closed. What is this? There are matches, extinguished candles, pictures of people hanging in the room. A line is written on the wall. May you rest in peace. This must be a place where they mourn the dead. The two look around for a while and leave after mourning for a short while. Rapunzel and Snow White light the candles with the matches on the floor and pray for a while. They then walk out of the room and open the locked door. And they break up. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. So yeah, it seems like we gotta go into the apartment buildings. Snow White and Rapunzel go to the apartment buildings to look for daily necessities, but most of them have been completely obliterated from rapture attacks. There are only 3 houses they can still enter. Snow White. Middle. They come to the house in the middle and see a bunch of empty cans piled up neatly in the corner of an empty room. It seems that someone else has been here. While most of the doors are either open or broken, they find one that is tightly closed. They try opening the door. There's a bed in the room. On the bed lies 2 bodies, their fingers intertwined. Snow White and Rapunzel wordlessly look at the photo frame on the bedside table. A couple smiles happily in the picture. Seems like they're a couple. After looking at the picture for a while, Rapunzel says she wants to mourn the deceased and decides to take the photo frame with her. Feeling they won't be able to find anything else in the house, they decide to. I forgot to do it. Oh yeah. Leave the door alone. For now, looking for supplies and food is the top priority. Upon picking up the familiar smell of death coming from inside, they decide not to open the door. Okay, enter the one on the left. Walking into the house on the left, the two find the posters of the Ark and lots of lottery tickets scattered inside. The lottery tickets have "Try Again" printed on them. Amongst the pile, there's a cookbook. On the pages, sentences such as recipes anyone can learn, become a master in your own kitchen today, can be made out. Rapunzel says it would be nice if they can find food and make some dishes to bring back to the post. Snow White asks Rapunzel if she needs the cookbook. Rapunzel says, yeah, she needs it. There's no harm in having a cookbook. Rapunzel says Snow White agrees with her, feeling they won't be able to find anything else in the house. Okay, check the one on the right. The house on the right is entirely empty. Rapunzel visits the former residents that must have taken refuge somewhere else. Or Rapunzel posits okay, that's another word that I don't know. Okay, Nikke. Thank you, Nikke. Doing a lot more good to me than what English class actually did for me in school. Yep. Okay. Just have to write that down. Rapunzel posits the former residents that must have taken refuge somewhere else. Snow White looks at the empty room and discovers a dried white flower that has fallen on the ground. There's a buzzing in her ear, then a voice rings out. This flower is more like you than me. Snow White? Oh, wait. Snow White? Rapunzel's voice brings Snow White back to reality. Snap back to reality. Despite Rapunzel's concern, Snow White insists everything is fine and tells her not to worry. Snow White then suggests they continue their search. Rapunzel agrees and walks away. Walks away while Snow White picks up the dried flower. Snow White feels an unprecedented wave of emotions and surreptitiously takes the dried white flower. Oh, feelings. Check out the factory. Believing there might not be any. Oh wait, no, we already. Okay, take out the photo frame and begin praying. Rapunzel places the photo frame they got from the apartment building among the pictures on the floor and light the candles with a match. Once all the candles in the room are lit, Rapunzel kneels down quietly. Without a word, Snow White stands back and watches. Stay with Rapunzel or leave Rapunzel alone, achieve ending the step she failed to take. Snow White asks, Why are you doing this? What? They're already dead. Rapunzel answers, Death is not the end. The marks these people made during their lives will not disappear simply because they are no longer with us. Everything truly ends when everyone who remembers them is gone. Rapunzel stands up and looks at Snow White. So, I decide to remember. I don't want them to be forgotten, for everything to come to an end and rob them of all meaning. So I will keep praying to remember the precious lives they used to lead. I will acknowledge their death and bid them farewell. Death is not the end. The real end happens when one's existence is forgotten. Snow White falls into deep thought. She's never thought of it that way. Rapunzel looks at Snow White, who is lost in thought, and kneels once again to pray. While Snow White watches Rapunzel pray, she asks, Then how do we bid someone farewell? Look them in the eyes. Say to them, be well. Bid you farewell. We're still going. We're still going with this. Follow the cookbook, please. Rapunzel says she happens to have a cookbook handy that she'll follow. She announces she'll use this canned good to make something delicious, and goes out to start a fire. As Snow White watches Rapunzel, her anxiety slowly builds. Fair enough. An appetizing soup boils in the huge pot. Its aroma fills the factory, and Snow White begins to drool. Can I have a taste? Hee, of course. Rapunzel confidently ladles some soup into a small can and passes it to Snow White. Snow White puts a spoonful of soup in her mouth. She is filled with pure ecstasy. How is it? Does it taste okay? It's wonderful. Rapunzel's mood improves when she sees Snow White. Obvious delight. With the big pot and canned goods in tow, they return to the post, triumphant. Oh, wait, there's something else I can do still? Oh, what else can I do? I actually don't know. Hold on. Try opening the door. I'll check the other houses then. Check the one on the left. Okay. Check the one on the right. Oh, leave it. Feeling that keeping the flower will bring back some unpleasant memories, Snow White decides to avert her gaze. Feeling they won't be able to find anything. Okay, is that enough? Oh, wait. Dang it. Okay, I'm pretty sure I got everything I... Chief ending buried. Hold on. Maybe over here. Oh. Yes. The white figure smiles. If you want to see... hold on. Let me drink some water for this. I gotta... If you want to see me, you should come to meet me, Snow White. Snow White opens her eyes. A towering tree stands before her. Something about this all seems oddly familiar. Snow White looks at her feet. As she does, a long forgotten memory comes rushing back. On a day when the fighting had no end in sight, she came over with a memory capsule and a sheet of paper. Who's reading this? I'm assuming it's gonna be... maybe Lilith? Everyone, write down your wishes on these and place them in this memory capsule. They tore the sheet of paper into 7 pieces, wrote down their wishes, and placed them in the capsule. She buried the memory capsule in the ground and spoke. One day, when our job is finished, let's open it together. Under that enormous tree, she made a promise that would never come true. Snow White takes out the time capsule buried in the ground. There are 7 pieces of paper inside. I wish... Hold on, I'll let all of these show up and then I'll read them in all the respective goddesses' voices. Okay, keeps... Okay, jeez! Okay, okay. Let's see. Doth end... Okay, that's Scarlet. Okay, I'll just say Scarlet's one. The day my role doth end, with the red flower shall I go. I wish that the day would come when everyone knows our names. I want to hear food, booze, in from my whole town. Okay. I hope Lilith will be safe. Ooh. I don't know who the we will win one is. That could be Lilith, but that could also be Commander. Oh. Oh, I feel like... I think it is Lilith. Okay. We will win. And I believe the first one would be Rapunzel. Okay, so it's Rapunzel, then Scarlet, then Doro, then Red Hood, then Lilith, and then Snow White. I wish for the war to end and for everyone to make it out safely. After reading 6 pieces of paper, Snow White opens the last one, which has been neatly folded. It's her... Oh, no, never mind. We will win as commanders. We will... I can't do Anderson's voice. I can't do it. He's too much of a Giga Chat. I can't. I'd besmirch his name if I tried doing his voice. I mean, basically my narrator voice is as close as I can get to it. But I'll try. We will win. We will win. Okay. That's the best I can do. I can't tell if I should put my hand to my throat to make sure, to see if that changes it, but nah, I'm not gonna. Ugh. I hope we can save humanity. A new ending, what is it? Buried memory. Okay, and that unlocked the meadow. Wait, there's still more? Hold on. I wanna complete this. My completion is Moraine is... No matter how badly she wants to see that woman, falling into a hallucination is a risky proposition. She puts the mushroom down and heads out of the forest. Okay. Okay, get an ending. Just get an ending. I feel like that... I got everything. Yeah. Okay. To the meadow. Last area. Snow White walks towards the field. Toward the field. The sun's rays cascade across the peaceful meadow. At the far end, there is a stone coffin encircled by towering trees. It is there that she slumbers. Snow White gazes from afar, half in a daze. Walk forward. Snow White holds the memory capsule. Although Snow White isn't confident about maintaining her composure whilst facing her, she musters the courage to step forward. There is a buzzing sound, then a voice rings out. You're Snow White, aren't you? Hello. I'm Remain stationary. Snow White remains where she is. She doesn't have the courage to move forward and meet her. I'm not ready. I don't deserve to see her. I haven't achieved anything at all. I can't remember her face or her name. How can I possibly face her? Not yet. It's not yet time. I can't face her yet. Snow White fails to take another step. After taking that one step towards her, Snow White stops. The step she failed to take. Okay, we can go finish up the suburbs then, because I believe that's the ending that we need. Here we go. Oh wait, no. I think it is this. Okay. Rapunzel and explore another location. Snow White leaves Rapunzel behind and begins exploring the factory again. She smells the familiar scent of flowers. Snow White follows the scent and finds a door toward the back. Snow White opens the door. Snow White takes out the dried white flowers she got from the apartments and opens the door. As the door opens, a sea of white flowers greets Snow White. She knows the name of these flowers. They remind Snow White of her. Memories of her come rushing back. Memories Snow White has been wanting to forget. She was always fond of her. Being together with her was always a happy experience. Snow White was never happier than when they had chatted in a prairie full of flowers just like these. This flower has the same name as you. Yes, that's where I got my name. Oh, we saw this exact scene, bro. We saw this exact scene in Ark Guardian, man. We finally see, like, dang, it took like nearly 3 years, but yes, we see this exact scene. Snow White loved that flower ever since. But now, it seems like this flower, But now it seems like this flower is more like you than me. No, this flower still resembles her. Oh wait, no wait, that's Lilith voicing that. But now, it seems like this flower is more like you than me. No, this flower still resembles her. The purest, strongest, and loveliest. Snow White, Lily Weiss. Snow White runs towards the field of lily white before her. After staring at the flowers for a while, as if in a daze, she sits down and caresses them. Can I go and see you? Please. The sky turns red. Snow White continues to cradle the lily-white in her arms, even when Rapunzel comes looking for her after praying. The beautiful lily-white. Once again, I really hope they don't make Lily Weiss a playable character, because to be honest, this was my exact thing with why I played Cookie Run Kingdom for like 2 years, and then like as soon as I got White Lily Cookie, which if you know Cookie Run Kingdom, I just immediately lost interest, because basically the story up until the point that I played was basically like saving White Lily Cookie, and then now that and at that point when she became recruitable, like, oh sick, I got her. And then as more story updates happened in Cookie Run Kingdom, there were just more characters being introduced, just more characters that just power corrupt White Lily Cookie, and then I just said, you know what, kid, I don't care about the story anymore. I just don't care. And so, yeah. And then I switched to Nikke, so, yeah. Yeah, I replaced one of the gotchas. I replaced Cookie Run Kingdom with Nikke, which honestly, my best decision ever. Which also, by the way, I'm probably going to be not playing Wuthering Waves anymore, because, well, A, my computer can't handle it, and B, I just don't care anymore. I mean, I got Shorekeeper. To me, that's a win in my book. I'll take that. And the next characters that they showed for the new area, I just don't care. And anyway, let's keep going, since we're almost done. Okay, walk forward. Walk forward. Snow White looks at the Lilyweiss flower. It was Lilyweiss's favorite. I have to go. At long last, Snow White makes that step she failed to take before. Leave with the flower. A coffin lies on the vast meadow, surrounded by soaring trees. Lilyweiss, the first Nikke, the leader of the goddess squad, Snow White's hero, who is stronger and more beautiful than anyone else. Yeah, you're damn right. After a long journey, Snow White finally arrives before the slumbering Lilyweiss. Bunches of flowers adorn her grave. A grief-stricken Snow White salutes. Hello, Lilyweiss, my hero. Never did I feel I was in danger, so long as you were there on the battlefield with me. Actually, I'll switch it up to this version of Snow White's voice that I can reasonably muster. Never once did I retreat from anything. My honor was your honor, and your happiness was mine. So I didn't want to accept the fact that you won't be joining me on my future journey. I don't want to accept the fact that I won't be able to see you laugh once again. But it's time to say farewell. You gave me a mission. That mission alone proves you once existed in this world. It will be the reason this world remembers you and your greatest achievements. So please, my sister, my colleague, my soulmate, my hero, be well. Snow White places the Lilyweiss flower on Lilyweiss's coffin. Finally, she bids her farewell. Leave with the flower. Wait, what if you just go back? She still doesn't have the courage to walk forward. Snow White goes back in hopes of finding something that will give her courage. Oh, you just end it. Look around. Ooh! Oh my god. Oh, now that we had the Ark Guardian, we finally get the context of why the dog tags were just there. Why specifically Commander's dog tag, why Anderson's dog tags were there. It's because Lilith didn't have the energy to pick it up, so she just left it there. And Snow found it. Dude, my heart is going to break when Snow goes back, if Snow goes back to the Ark. if this is a big if, but if Snow White goes back to the Ark with the dog tags, assumingly still around her neck. I forgot to check if Snow White still has the dog tags around her neck. I'm pretty sure she still does, but I'm going to check. I'm going to check after we're done with this. After White Memory, but dude, I can't tell who's gonna freak out more, like Anderson or like, once again, depending on if the other Goddess Squad members know Anderson's real identity or know their legendary commander's name. Like, I don't know who's gonna freak out more, like Snow White or Anderson. I'm so hyped, man. I really want to know what the fuck happens in the next chapters, bro. Anyway, gotta level myself. We're doing with a very sad minigame. Snow White decides to check the surroundings. She slowly realizes that she has never given this place a proper once-over. As she started to move in the direction where she can see the Ark, my voice is starting to flake out. Jesus. Snow White accidentally kicks something. She looks down and finds a dog tag. Yet another memory that had remained buried for so long resurfaces. Snow White remembers that person she has previously forgotten. He said he was a mercenary, but he didn't seem like the military type. He was the man who became our leader, who claimed that he would suppress the raptures. Commander. When did it begin? His bluntness and impertinence gave way to tenderness, and he began treating us like humans. I hope you don't get hurt again. Lily-White kissed his dog tag. He gazed at her then, the affection evident in his eyes. At that moment, Snow White realized something. She was the one who changed him. I'm crying. It's true. She was the one who changed him. Or at least he was the one who confessed first and just, like, he had to say it. He had to say it if it was gonna be his last time to see Lilith. He had to confess. It really makes me wonder, like, if we do get to find, like, in main story, we see us as the commander know Anderson's true identity. I wonder if we're going to get an event also that goes into how different Anderson was before he met Lilith. Like whether or not he is kind of like how he is now, or like how we initially saw him. Like, because like when you begin Nikke, if you're a new commander who's watching this, like, no, then again, I've probably said so many spoilers, so I hope you. But like, when you start up Nikke and you see Anderson for the first time and see some of the things that he says, you initially think that, oh god, this guy is a dick. We're going to hate him. But then after like a few other things that happen, a few of the things like, you know, helping us have a choice in between, like, or like giving us a choice to save, like, see if we can save Modernia or Marion during that little war, that little skirmish, and also letting us, and just like, okay, like Anderson sending us off to the outpost so we wouldn't get like too attached to, or like so the central government doesn't have their complete eyes on you, the player. And also, after saving Marion, like Anderson still keeps helping us to help, or like keeps, or is on our side. Even now. So yeah, I hope we get to see like an event where we see what Anderson was like when he was a mercenary, or like his first meeting with Lilith, which is honestly going to punch me in the emotional balls, aka my heart, and also the gut, and any other sensitive part, I guess. But yeah, reading this hurts, man. Reading this hurts now after playing Ark Guardian, man. Like, Snow White picks up the dog tag beside her feet. His name is carved on it. Fuck, I forgot! Oh no! Oh my god! It is! It is! Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm freaking the... We're going to see it. We're going to see it. But the thing is it's Dorothy probably doesn't know, right? Dorothy doesn't know. Snow White here is the only one now that knows that, oh yeah, it looks like our commander's name was Anderson. Bro, I'm so excited for the next few chapters, man. The next 8 chapters, honestly. I hope the next 8 chapters are in the arc, because we need to deal with 6-0. Also, B, I also want to see if we're going to have like a street race with Logie, you know, 6-0's seemingly #1 henchman versus Sugar, 6-0's former henchman. I want to see that. And 3, I need to see this interaction between Snow White and like her seeing Anderson, man. I need to see it. Even though I'm tired, I'm still fucking hyped, man. So excited and so excited. Why is this here? Snow White can't bring herself to leave it here, so she decides to bring it to Lillyweiss. Snow White remembers how she loved him just as much as he loved her. It's making me sad. You're gonna make me cry again. God damn it. God damn it, Shift Up. Like, what? Tame dog tag. Like, seriously, man. It just hits so different. It just hits so different after... Look for Lillyweiss's coffin. Walking out of the post, Snow White says goodbye to everyone and sets off on a long journey. Snow White decides to go to Lillyweiss's coffin, which she has not visited in a long time. There is something she must tell Lillyweiss before she leaves. With a heavy heart, Snow White comes to Lillyweiss's coffin. She takes one step, and then another. Snow White accidentally kicks something. There's a familiar looking piece of rock on the ground. It's the sharp corner of the coffin. Snow White lifts her head and looks at Lillyweiss. It's gone. Her head is gone. In the shattered coffin, only her body remains. If I remember correctly, Liberalio somehow found it and took her head, but not the rest of the body. I don't know why though, but... Oh yeah, I think it was because Liberalio said, or was it Nihilister said that, like, the coffin was, or like, her body was like, or like stuck in the tundra or something, or like it fell down a river, and she got the body that way, or she got the head that way, but left the body for some reason. I forgot, but I think it's explained in 41 and 42. Or was it 40? I forgot. Actually, no, it's either 41 or 42. Her head is gone. In the shattered coffin, only her body remains. The white Lillyweiss flower has black scuff marks from being trampled on. Desperately, Snow White searches her surroundings. It's gone. Why? How is this happening? Her face is gone. Only her body is left. No one will remember her this way. I haven't achieved anything yet. I haven't accomplished anything she expected of me. Will her story really end so meaninglessly? No way. I refuse to accept this. This can't happen to her. Not to Lilywhite. Then bzz, bzz, a sound echoes from somewhere. The sound of machines. Gray intruders that disturb the ground. Raptures. Raptures. The black marks upon the white flower. They say they took away her head. Exterminate them. I will exterminate them all. I will find her head. I have to fulfill her legacy. What she wished for. I hope we can. I have to save her legacy. I have to save the humans. I hope we can save. I have to save her legacy. I have to save the humans. I hope we can save the humans. Click. Snow White gets to her feet and walks forward. She will exterminate all the raptures on the surface and recover the human world. Hey, Ed. Yeah, she suffered a mind switch. Her head has disappeared. God damn it, Liberalu. And that's... Yup. And that's it. Hold up. Okay. And end of expedition. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's all the endings. Weeby. Okay, so yeah, I'm hyped for the next chapters, to say the least. Honestly. Anyway, let's go. Let me check. Yep, she still has the dog tags. She still has Anderson's dog tags.
I will kill the queen, no matter the cost.
I can't believe I was able to power through it. My throat is...
Playtime's over.
Actually, my throat is somewhat fine, but I am starting to feel a little bit more of the tiredness from my body after today, but yeah, that was an eventful... That was good. That was very interesting to go over White Memory after you know, seeing Red Ash. Still haven't personally played Red Ash yet, so I'll probably save it for another time. Maybe during the 3.5 anniversary, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I'll save that for another time, but also, yeah, after looking at Old Tales, Ark Guardian, I guess also Footstep Walk Run, and also just the main story in general, it's interesting to go back to like some of the beginning events, like going back through Overzone again with the knowledge of Ark Guardian, now that we know what Oswald did and what he was going through at the time of Overzone, and also just seeing the journey of Snow White from that time once again in Overzone, or like in White Memory, like how she was feeling in White Memory, to now where she has now recovered her memories and is determined to take down the queen and to grant Lilith, as she says, true rest. So yeah, until then, I guess the next time you see me play Nikke is honestly until we get like either another voiced event or until the next chapters are here. So until then, dear wanderers and travelers, this has been Moton Blight. I hope you have a good rest of your day or night or whatever time it may be for you, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye.